Hello there guys, welcome back. This is I Can't Witch Without, the series in which I discuss different things that make up a part and parcel of my regular practice. As always, the disclaimer at the start of this video: you do not need things to be a witch. That's not the intention of this video, that's not really the point. The point of it is to share my experiences, my feelings, and some of the informational stuff on different bits and pieces that may or may not help you within your craft. So this week is lavender, and I was musing around doing lavender, and I was musing about it and thinking and then a metric ton of lavender showed up, so I was like, alright, okay, so definitely let's get on with it, sort it out. So from the Scott Cunningham book for lavender, we have masculine Mercury and air, powers of love, protection, sleep, chastity, longevity, purification, happiness and peace. Lavender has long been used in love spells and sachets. Clothing nabbed with the fragrant flowers or lavender placed in drawers with clothes attracts love. A piece of paper on which you have rubbed lavender is excellent for writing love notes. The scent of lavender particularly attracts men, and lavender water or the essential oil was worn by prostitutes several years ago to both advertise their profession as well as to magically attract customers. Lavender also protects against the cool treatment at the hands of a spouse if worn. These flowers are also burned or smouldered to induce sleep as well as rest, and are scattered about the home to maintain peacefulness. The plant is so powerful that when one gazes upon the plant, all sorrow will depart, and a joyous feeling will settle upon the observer. Indeed, the odour of lavender is conducive to long life, and should be smelled as long as possible if this is a concern. Lavender is also used in healing mixtures, carried to see ghosts, and worn to protect against the evil eye. Also added to purification baths. Despite its love associations, in the Renaissance it was believed that if worn with rosemary it would preserve, that's my brain today, sorry, a woman's chastity. A wish divination. Place lavender under your pillow while thinking of your wish. Do this prior to retiring for the night. In the morning, if you have dreamt anything relating to your wish, it will come true. If you did not have dreams or they were unconnected with your wish, it will not manifest. So that's from the Scott Cunningham Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs, and it's actually quite an array of information this time. Quite a lot of the information is quite limited, I guess. So then we'll have a look at the Compendium of Herbal Magic by Paul Beryl. Mercury and Virgo. Fertility herb, herb of consecration, herb of love, magical herb, religious herb, visionary herb, invocational to Hecate or Saturn. Amongst the lore is belief that lavender is associated with snakes. In the second volume of Greaves, A Modern Herbal, we found this reference. Dr. Fernie in Herbal Simples. By the Greeks, the name Nardus is given to lavender from Nardia, a city of Syria near the Euphrates, and many people call this plant a nard. St. Mark mentions this as spikenard, a thing of great value. It was formerly believed that the asp, a dangerous kind of viper, made lavender its habitual place of abode, so that the plant had to be approached with great caution. We know that lavender has been a herb treated both with respect and as a sacred herb since ancient times. Customs date to pre-Christian times in which lavender is brought into midsummer rites. It is one of the many herbs said to have been selected by the legendary King Solomon, son of David, who lived some 3,000 years ago, to asperge his temple. It was very popular in the Middle Ages. The lore at this time is impressive, even if inconsistent. Used by some to promote lust and romance, others believed it kept them from the temptations of the flesh, which we've already had a look at. Modern usage includes lavender being burnt in birthing rooms, the smell of its smoke filling the room, keeping it pure and welcoming new life into the world. Established customs indicate that lavender may have the properties of a fertility herb. It has been woven into small wreaths to crown newly married couples and is often used in hand-fasting rituals today. There are other ways it can be brought into rituals of union. It can be part of the elixir in the ritual cup shared by the newly joined couple, adding permanence to their vows. The blossoms can be added to the bridal bouquet. Ritual bathing prior to the nuptials might make use of lavender soap. A wise cook might grind the flowers into a fine powder to be added to the cake's batter. It is suspected that lavender's use in hand fasting and marriages comes from the belief that it promoted fertility in women. Lavender was thrown into the fires on St. John's days. Today it's often included in midsummer incense, but can be used at any time of year. Lavender is known for its ability to increase one's clarity when viewing the world and to assist in the evolution of one's spirit through life. This well-known herb is used to magically assist any work into manifestation. The herb is associated with the god Saturn, which enhances the potential for permanence of its magical workings. Despite lavender's mercurial nature, it is believed of invoking deities such as Hecate and Saturn, and yet this powerful herb is known to bring calmness and serenity to one's inner self. It is used in a remedial fashion to alleviate stress and may be used magically for the same purpose. If working with ritual or magic to promote healing from a depression, lavender is the superior choice. As mentioned within the lore, there is association with snakes. Whether this is an aspect of lavender's ability to increase one's wisdom, the snake has been associated with knowledge since early biblical times, and probably beyond that, or of folklore, seeing as snakes may find comfort resting beneath a bush, this information may be of value to many practitioners. There are a significant number of deities associated with snakes, and lavender may be used to sort of call on them or honouring them in a ritual. Lavender would also serve as a patron herb for those who work with or keep snakes. Lavender is sometimes used to increase one's ability to manifest money or to attract desired possessions. However, if the motive is desire rather than genuine need, the magic could work in reverse. Also associated with the Hermit card, lavender is used in the blessing of one's home. A bunch of lavender bound together is well used in the asperging of one's home, which is when you usually put it in water and then sort of use the lavender to flick, for lack of a better term, flick the water around whilst purifying your home. Temple or ritual circle. There we go. And we will also read the magical properties of lavender essential oil, which is also in shot here. Restorative, calming, magical properties of happiness, love, peace, protection and purification. It's caring, nurturing, warms the home and brings a protective love from Mother Earth. Lifts depression and sadness from the spirit, bringing emotional balance to the psyche. Lavender essential oil awakens harmony. It is a vibration that brings angels of companionship closer when we are in need in comfort, companionship, and it helps us to recognise that help is always available and that we are never alone. Been used for centuries in healing mixtures, love spells and purification. Has a steadying influence on the psyche, calming yet intuitive, much like a wise woman energy. Indecisiveness and emotional conflict are washed away by the scent of lavender. Okay. I really like the idea of this herb in some ways for this week, because on the surface of it, lavender is one of those herbs which everybody has heard of, I should think. I'd be surprised if people hadn't heard of lavender. It has a rich history, cross-cultural history, and as you can see, like for multi-purpose uses, some in direct conflict with one another. So in the terms that it was used for sexual attraction and lust, and then on the reverse of the sort of fidelity and I don't want to say censorship of sexuality, but that's what's going through my head. So it's used on both axes of sort of magical purpose, magical use within the same flower, within the same herb. And I really like the allusion towards snake imagery within the compendium, because that sort of reminds me of Ouroboros, which is everywhere right now. And Ouroboros is a snake eating its own tail, and I've been working with it a lot, seeing the imagery a lot, and particularly within the infinity symbol this week. And it's about the constant cycles of life, death and rebirth, and I think lavender has that energy within it, very, very much so, because right at the very beginning of your path you can connect to lavender. It's such a visually beautiful herb that it's really easy to connect to. It comes in a variety of different colours. So here we have some of the lighter stuff, and that's a general herb. And then this is from my garden, I'll say it's my garden, and I keep this in its own special container that Sharon sent, and it's very, very special, and I use it very, very sparsely because there isn't much of it. I can only get what I can get out of the garden, and I've I got a plant. I bought my own plant, which is Harry, the lavender plant, and he comes out more this colour, and I was like, I was sure he was supposed to be a darker colour, but never mind. So you can get them in this darker colour too. And out the front there is actually a white lavender plant, which if I can get some I try to, but I haven't got any at the minute. They cut it all down before I got out there, and I was like, oh. So yeah, I missed my chance this year. It was a bit heartbreaking. But everybody knows what lavender is. You know, you can use it right in the beginning of your path. It has a gentle, sort of sweeter energy, very soft energy that you can use for a number of different things. Lavender is well documented in the aiding of sleep, for example, and that's probably what most particularly non-magical practitioners will recognise its properties for, although there has been an increase in using it in cooking in recent years. Those things tend to trend and then go away, and trend again and then go away, depending on what's in fashion. But in terms of it helping you to sleep, that's what most people are going to know about. I remember reading when I was at school that the scent of lavender could actually help with memory recall, and smelling lavender as you were learning something and then taking a handkerchief scented of lavender into an exam with you would mean it would help trigger your memory recall. I don't think I ever tried that, so I can't talk to its effectiveness, but I remember reading about it. The problem is taking handkerchiefs into exams can be a nightmare. Even in my day, I bet they're even more funny now about what they allow you to take. So it has that very beginner level, but as you really start to delve into it and you can work with it more and more, and in lots and lots of different ways, it becomes more enriched, it becomes more complex. It has different variations of energies, and it has this wonderful tie-in energy to all these different magical purposes, and that to me ties into this energy of Ouroboros. You know, it can be used at any stage of life, death and rebirth, the constant renewal of life and the eternity of the universe, and that ties in beautifully to all of its major properties, because for example, sleep in the very early stages is what you're taught you can use it for, and when we are sleeping and dreaming, we are most connected to our subconscious and getting messages from our subconscious mind and delving into our psyche, which if you follow any spiritual path you may or may not believe helps you connect to previous lives and things of that nature in the grand cycle of your own evolution. And then you have things like love, which is the universal language of the universe, the cosmos. It renews and is eternal and ongoing, and is one of the emotions that binds us as human beings for all time and across time. And then you have healing, and healing for me very much ties into the idea of Ouroboros and the constant flow of energy, because we will suffer, we will hurt, but it will pass and we can heal and grow again. I think I read somewhere it was actually used as a funeral herb. I'm not sure I read that. Obviously I don't have that to hand, so don't take that as a writ. But another really great thing about lavender is it works really beautifully on a visual level in terms of creating things. So you can create things for your home, and even if you are very private about your practice and don't really want anyone to know, you can create things which include lavender, which to the outside eye would just look like a pretty decoration. Wreaths would be a really good one. So something I have, which is a little bit more obvious, I guess, than say a wreath, is this. And this is for the home, this is for the sense of peace. And we have an amethyst heart here that was gifted to me by my dragon mama. Dragon mama is one of my friends from my forum. And you can see lavender work through with grain. And that's about fertility of the home, it's about bringing abundance into the home. And lavender for peace, bringing a peaceful home, trying to keep crap out of your home. I need to remake a new one of these actually at some point, probably next year now, but they, you know, you can work all of these beautiful things, dried herbs, to your own wreath. You can purchase a wreath base relatively inexpensively and just work your own herbs and things into one, and that would be really wonderful for sort of tying all your magical properties, magical purposes, magical intentions into your home, into your spellwork of your home. And you know, you can use lavender in a multitude of ways, and we've already covered most of them. You know, you can burn them in a oil burner if you're using the essential oil. You can add a few drops of essential oil to your bath. You can add herbs to sachets as part of your bath, and lavender is a really great ritual bathing herb, unless you don't like the smell. I know some people don't. I don't know an awful lot of people who don't like it, but there are some that don't like it, and then in which case you wouldn't. But it does bring this gorgeous scent, in my opinion, to bathing, to herbal blends, to sachets. You know, trouble with sleeping is obviously a really great one to put in a little dream pillow or something of that ilk. It is a lovely, beautiful herb. It feels, it's supposed to be quite masculine in energy, but it's not something that strikes me as masculine particularly. I think it kind of contains both, because of this, I've got it in my head about this having this circular energy, and being able to sort of flow into all different areas of life. Therefore I don't really envisage it as being one or the other in terms of gender. The only thing that I really don't like lavender in form of, I don't really like it in food, I've got to say. I'm not a huge fan of it in food, but that again is personal preference. I haven't found a stick-in sense of lavender that I think is nice. They tend to be a bit fake and overpowering, and to be honest I'd much rather just play with some lavender myself, or some essential oil or something like that. It's much easier than finding a nice stick-in sense, but that's just personal preference again. It makes a really lovely decorative thing in terms of magical workings as well. So for example, you want to do a little peace spell, right? So this time of year, this is why we're doing lavender as well, because this time of year it's quite stressful. So this is just a little sort of votive holder, and you could get a little bit of salt, which I don't have on hand, it's over there, but you know, and you're just placing a little, and you're just doing clockwise to manifest. And again, it's a huge herb of manifestation. And you're just envisaging peace as you're going around like so. Now you can leave it like that, you could put some salt in, or you could, you know, just put a very little amount in and then place a candle in. This is a blue candle, this is actually a third eye candle, but you can use blue candles for peace and healing. Now what you could do, especially if you've got salt in there, grind it down. And you're actually filling your intention as you're doing it, and visualizing, pouring your energy in. But the emotion of grinding that and releasing that odor and working all your herbs. So it's, and then it will sit flat in there as well, especially if you've got some herbs and salt, sorry, and you've ground it right down, so it's very fine underneath. It creates a really beautiful base, a scent, and it's a really, really simple peace spell that you can do using lavender. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and many blessings.